intellect to make her an asset to our nation's judiciary. And without objection, I'll enter that into the record. Senator Welch.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You're hearing what is a real divide in the country and between the parties about what's happening in the justice system. I happen to think the ABA is an excellent organization. I'm disappointed the president is prohibiting the ABA from being involved. There's a different point of view on the so-called weaponization of what's happened in the Justice Department. But one of the elements that's emerging now is an incredible amount of criticism from the executive branch of judges who make decisions that the executive disagrees with. For instance, President Trump, referring to some judges said, who decided against him, U.S. hating judges who suffer from an ideology that is sick. There's a reference to, by the president, judges who are, quote, monsters who want our country to go to hell. I don't think that's helpful. And just let me ask you, you've had judges rule in your favor. You've had judges rule against you. Is it your view that in your experience when judges have ruled against you, it's anything other than the exercise of their responsibility to decide the case as they see it, or is it motivated by some political ideology?
Well, I think your question touches on foundational aspects of our system, which is we're a country that values political dialogue very much. At the same time, there no doubt are limits on violence, limits on criminal threats, things like that. So, I don't want anything I say here as a nominee to be seen as passing asking, judgment.
You've been a litigant, so you've had cases decided, I take it, for you and against you in both cases. In either case, do you accuse the judges of having some political motivation when the judge decides against you?
When a judge decides against me, I file an appeal and litigate the appeal. And I will say, I've been an public official subject to criticism, and all I can say is it's part of the job and you do your duties. Right. Do you think it's proper for litigants to be using that kind of language when they disagree with the decision that a court has made? Well, again, as a nominee, I don't want to give a thumbs up or thumbs down to any particular category of statements. All right. Well, let me ask you this. I know you signed a letter, I think in your personal capacity, in support of, that was, I think, circulated in support of the Attorney General. And in that letter, there was a reference to, quote, a dark chapter of the United States Justice Department. What specifically were you referring to when you signed the letter that had that phrase in it? So that letter was on behalf of female members of the State Attorney General's offices. I could just tell you. No, I'm asking. I know who it was on behalf of, but what the letter specifically said, you're referring to a dark chapter of the United States Justice Department. So explain what that dark chapter was and what specifically you had in mind. So I spent the past 2 years litigating against rules, including Title IX and others, that we did not feel as an office and as my client reflected the proper meaning of the law, and indeed dismissed many well-meaning, deeply held concerns on the part of many women and others. And so where I was coming from in signing that letter was, in my experience, litigating and often prevailing in those issues that we thought involved federal overreach by the Department of Justice. Here's the issue for me that I think is getting so difficult in the courts. You can have different points, citizens can have different points of view, and they don't have to attribute that difference to some radical anti-woman agenda or referring to the Justice Department as a dark chapter in the United States Justice Department, because this is a big country, people have different points of view, everyone's free to advocate what it is they want to advocate for. But now it is custom
that if the decision goes against you, you have a president who starts talking about monsters who want to take our country to go to hell. I guess I can't ask you to answer that, but you're going to be, assuming you're confirmed, in a responsibility, you're going to have the responsibility for really helping create a culture within the judicial system that hopefully restores respect, and that means respect for people with whom one disagrees. Thank you. I yield back.
Ms. Herman-Dorfman, let me just stay with this question about the Title IX litigation that Senator